Hello. Good evening. This is Trent, and this is FC Feature Friday Night. And if this is your very first time here on the channel, why don't you scoot down to that like button? And there's a little red tab too, is called subscribe. Click that, and then ring the bell so you don't miss any content I release on a weekly basis. And nice like this, when we go live with each other. So this is going to be, I got to situate just so it's pointed at the First Lady of FC. But yeah, I was going to quickly talk about what you can expect on FC. Mondays, of course, I release a video every Monday around 5 or 6 o'clock Eastern. And so make sure you catch that. And then over on Instagram, and I'm looking to transition my dad discussion, where I do Q&A videos, interviews with other dads. That's on Instagram Live currently at 8 o'clock on Thursday nights. But I'm looking to transition that over to YouTube to keep everything on the YouTube platform. But so just to remind you, if you haven't done so already, it's right there on the screen. So make sure you head over there and give me your support. And make sure you like the video, and because that helps the YouTube algorithm to find me. And so I want people to find me. Yeah, so tonight we're just going to relax for 30 minutes. Just 30 minutes. There are 30-minute segments on Friday nights. And Feature Friday, usually what I do is I usually pick a video. It could be a book I'm reading, a quote, any type of source. Any type of source at all. Hey, heck, for all I know, I could be out in the community walking around and hear somebody say something, and I'll feature in on that, and I'll talk about it. And basically, Feature Fridays is to do a critical analysis of some kind of source and relate that to fatherhood. So that's Friday night. And Friday nights are iconic in our house because we like to be absolutely lazy.
Yeah. This is cutting into my lazy time.
Yeah, so
my show watching, my relaxing. So feel fortunate.
Yeah. She feels so welcomed, and
face.
She was waiting all day for this.
I was working all day.
Yeah. But we're having fun. We're just going to talk about. So tonight's segment is specifically, what does Mama Bear think of Papa Bear's fathering game? And so I'll get into an introduction in a minute, but I told my wife that I will not give any hard questions where, it's borderline embarrassment for her or me. So we'll keep it civil. But I want you to be honest. Like, I want every viewer, everybody tunes in, because that's what I do, right? Fatherhood confession. It's about confessing that I don't have it all together. I'm not perfect, but I'm perfectly needed, right? Whether you believe that or not.
I just think keep it light, because then it turns into a criticism of dad's skills.
That's true.
And moms and dads have different roles.
Yeah,
different roles in.
That's true.
When you have both.
Probably a good place to start. Like, what do you see as the defining difference in like fathers and mothers and their roles and kind of how we relate to kids? Again, this is completely coming to you raw and real. So, but we'll get to the fun stuff in a minute. What do you think? Like, I battle with that sometimes. It's still okay.
I don't know. I think there's this stereotypical view about what we should be as moms or dads, or moms versus dads versus moms. Step parents, caregivers, guardians, family members, raising kids. I mean, in the end, we're all just raising humans, trying to make them better humans. So when they grow up and to become adults, they're not awful. And they're functioning members of society that people want to spend time with.
Yeah,
so,
and we say that often. Like we
do.
don't want to raise spoiled, entitled kids. they get out into the real world and they're like, okay, what is this all about? Like, mom and dad never told me about this reality, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's important, like, in the household as we function as a family, like, knowing, like, you can't fulfill my role, I can't fulfill yours. I think that sometimes, I'm not sure if that's a common thing.
I think you take on the roles that you have to.
True.
I think that just because we are very different people, you and I.
Okay, let's tell the differences. Who's the morning person, me or you?
Well, it's not me. So
process of elimination,
too.
folks. Total.
It is not me.
Total morning person, total evening person, likes to sleep in. I like to be up at the crack of dawn. Right?
Yeah, I don't want to see John's crack. Stays.
See, we should get Diana, which I should have introduced my wife, Diana. I should get Diana to write my dad jokes, because it seems like she just started off with a real crack. I mean, a real bomb, a real doozy.
See, that's a dad joke. You ruined it.
I did.
Right there.
I ruined it. So, yeah, fathers, like, I mean, you think about, well, you got families that have the mother and father dynamic. Mm. There is an intentional, a continual mode of intentionality where you're always reminding yourself that, like, I can't fulfill mom's shoes and she can't fulfill mine. There's no way. But do you think there are times when fathers and mothers try to be each other where they kind of lose their unique role?
I don't know. See, that's one of those questions that I was like, that's a little deep for me on a Friday.
Yeah, it's a Friday. We're supposed to be resting.
That's a deep question.
Yeah, that's right.
I think I'm only speaking for myself, and sometimes I feel like the role that I take on is the make sure everybody has everything they need role. Make sure that, like, laundry is done, rooms are clean, that kind of role. And I think because I take that on, and that's what I spend a lot of my time doing, I do get a little jealous sometimes that you get to be, like, the fun parent, like the one that only does all the fun things. Like, mom asked you to clean your room, so go clean your room. I didn't ask you to do it. Mom asked you to do it. So it falls on me. So it's kind of like that movie we watched, The Yes Day, where the mom was just always the heavy, and her kids
lifter.
Didn't think that she was fun. And I mean, I watched that movie thinking, like, yeah, like, I was so fun. And no one in my house will ever know how much fun I was.
Yeah. Well, I know a bit.
And, you know,
I know
some.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, it's... If it means that my kids are respectful and functioning adults one day who can clean up after themselves and cook for themselves, I will relinquish the fun that I could have had on a daily basis to make sure that they are that person growing up. But
yeah, and so where just to kind of write out what you just said, like, sometimes the mom has to be, you know, she's like the chicken and the hens, right? Always gathering, always making sure, like you said, cleaning this and that. Not that it's stereotypical.
Like, I'm the one that's like, no, you can't wear that hoodie again.
And I would say, yeah, totally. Wear all pink. I don't care.
Well, I don't care about that.
Wear 5 times a day.
That. I just mean, like, if you're physically, if you look dirty, people are going to think there's something wrong with my parenting skills. So you can't
Do you have dirty
to school
kids?
That way.
Yeah, that's right.
You need to at least look like you're clean.
For instance, okay, this one I think we agree on. Out of, we have 2 kids. We have a boy who's almost 13 and a girl who's 9. And so they need constant, I don't know, how many times do we remind them of things, the same things, but many, many times a day. I just feel like I'm on repeat all the time, right? That's how we feel sometimes. But I forget what I was going to say. I was on a roll there for a second.
talking about how our kids are dirty.
Yeah.
I don't know if it
Okay,
was,
so
it was on that
so
wavelength or
Diana's
not.
the one. Like, I never remind my kids they need to take a bath or a shower. I just don't. But when Diana says it, I'll reinforce it. I'll be like, okay, let's go. Right?
Which is why I say, if anything ever happened to me,
Yeah.
you would need
That's shocking.
so many helping hands to
I
make
feel
sure
like-
our kids are bathed.
I feel like Elf.
The basics. Make sure they're clean. Just someone make sure my kids are clean.
Remember that scene in Elf where Papa Elf was telling him that one of the things that kids believe is that parents give the kids presents?
yeah.
And he's like, oh, how can they do that all in one night? That's shocking. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's sticking to your role, knowing that, and it's true what you said. I'm not sure if dads, if you're out there where you just love to bug your kids. Like, I'm not sure it's borderline tormenting, but I love to get a rise out of my kids all the time.
It's full on
Yeah.
torment.
Where Diana's not so much like that, right?
Well, because it irritates me. I don't want to do anything to them that irritates me.
Yeah. Okay.
Why would I inflict that on them? But yeah, I don't think it's about sticking to your roles. I think it's about
Okay.
playing to your strengths and admitting your weaknesses and letting someone else
Right.
backfill.
But what is it that dads, okay, how do dads relate to kids different than moms?
Probably because you're like big children.
Who, fathers?
Yeah.
Did you hear that? We need to take notes.
Well, I can only speak for you,
Right,
and
that's true.
probably my brother and brothers-in-law,
Yeah.
and like
Dave?
you guys all can act just like big man children.
It's
So
fun.
you relate to our actual children because you're kind of on the same level sometimes.
It's true.
Like if you're playing PlayStation,
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to be bothered just
No.
like if our 12-year-old is playing PlayStation.
Right.
So it's the same.
Get out of my room. Yeah.
It's the same.
Leave me alone.
Yeah. Whereas I don't know, I'm probably more tolerant of interruptions because I maintain the air of adultness
Okay.
on a consistent level.
Let's play some music. So, you want to hear that? Just so you know what it sounds
Do what?
like. It's a real nice grooving tune. It's my kind of interim kind of timeout.
Kind of funky.
Yeah, it's kind of funky. You guys can hear it up there,
That's good though.
but she's good. So, while the music is playing, just before we get into, for the next 15 minutes, get into what Diana thinks in a civil, proper, orderly manner. I keep looking at the screen. I like to look at myself. That's awful. Gotta look at you folks. You
Like
guys.
if-
Eye contact.
It's like if there's a mirror, you just
Yeah.
kind of gravitate
That's right.
towards it.
But just in the comments below, let me know where you're viewing from. I want to know. And if you have some preconceived notions or thoughts, and they don't have to be exaggerated ones, but if you have like any preconceived thoughts as to where dads and moms are different in your household, and how you're different, throw it in the comments below. Let me know where you're viewing from, and yeah, that'd be great. But yeah, we're going to continue in just a second and get our bearings here. I'm going to talk about how I'm doing, and Diana's going to give her honest opinion as to how I am as a person. I told you in my advertisement for tonight, I said that Mama Bear is going to evaluate. It's going to let me know, hey, where I'm kind of lacking, if I am, and if there's something completely obvious. But she's not going to downplay me. There's not going to be any exchange of ill will towards one another. We're just going to keep it again civil. Okay. So we'll turn off this music and we'll get back into it. Here we go. So, where do you think What is my strength as a dad? What do you think my strength is as a father? What is your strength as a father?
That's a tough question to be kind of thrown on the spot.
And we never rehearse this because we like it like this. I like it like that.
Yeah, some of us prefer some preparation.
Yeah. See, that's where we're different right there. I could do things off the cuff, probably because I'm used to it.
You're probably a lot more spontaneous and in the moment with the kids than I am.
Okay, like
you wouldn't hesitate to just be like, yeah, let's take the dogs and let's go to the park and walk out with nothing in your hands. Maybe your phone.
Let's go to the beach. Keys. No suntan lotion.
Yeah. You would do that. You would go without any snacks. Without
my kids
any
are
water.
Going to come back like a broiled piece of bacon.
So when we go places, say for the beach, you would bring a towel between you and the kids.
Would I bring snacks?
You might
for me.
You might bring a bag of trail mix for you. Yes.
True.
You'd probably bring one water bottle between you. Whereas I would bring beach blanket, umbrella, sunscreen, water bottles for all, cooler, full of snacks, full of fruit, full of stuff.
It's so funny. Eh?
Extra towels. So one for each person and probably then one or two hats. Just to name a few differences.
That's funny. And it's true. Everything you're saying
and the kids don't see any of that.
No.
The kids just know that when they're at the beach and they're thirsty, oh, mom's got something for me.
and it's interesting too because I'm not sure if it's like this in your house, but because dads, I know for us, we can only speak for us, right? Our environment, but
yeah,
I'm the fun guy. I like to, like I said, relationally with the kids, I get down, and I throw my daughter around. That sounds awful. Don't report me. And there's a uniqueness about it, but where was I going with that again? I'm all scatterbrained.
That's probably your downfall.
yeah. Preparation.
That's probably what you're not doing well.
Yeah. But yeah, I have no, I don't consider foresight something that is important when going places.
No.
Right?
And I think
no,
not in any way. And I think the kids don't care.
No.
Either. But
I know what I was going to say.
But in certain, I'm not saying with all circumstances.
No,
There's definitely times that you kind of just throw them in the car and you just take off and everything's totally fine.
Depending on what we're doing.
But right? If they got somewhere, so say if we go to the cottage and we find out that they don't have something that they would have used.
It's so funny.
And it was up to you to make sure that happened. It didn't happen.
No, that's right.
They'd be pretty bummed.
Yeah, all their
Whereas
fun.
I make sure that everything happens the way it's supposed to happen.
Right.
But nobody appreciates it.
Yeah, nobody sees it, right?
Nobody sees it, and nobody's going to notice because everything you need is always there. Everything is prepared.
And it's funny because what I'm about to say goes right along with what she just said. If our kids need a Band-Aid, if they need something to eat, or they're looking for a specific item of clothes or whatever the case would be, they will never come to me. It's always, Mom! Never. Right?
Never.
Or I'm not feeling well, Mom. So that's so interesting. I'm not sure what it's like in your household as dads and your dynamic, but you could be working and you work from home and the kids come to the door and right away if they're
they ask me if they can have something to eat. I'm like, where's your dad? He's not working right now. I'm still working.
I'm off. Yeah, that's right.
Go.
Yeah.
Find them.
Just
find him.
G-O.
Yeah.
But it's true. They never come to me for any type of fulfill my needs in this moment. It's always you.
It's maybe fulfill my desire to have fun.
Yeah.
Or they might come to you to ask for like ice cream because they know I may question their previous food choices to see if they've had something
like Nasaya.
substantial first. Which you wouldn't
Yes,
question that.
No,
You'd be
I
like,
wouldn't.
whatever.
I'd be
have
like,
ice
oh,
cream.
you want ice cream for dinner tonight? No problem. Let's have ice cream.
Yeah.
You don't get it all the time, but let's give you ice cream.
Well,
Do you want chocolate chips and chocolate syrup and cotton candy and gummy worms?
Our kids are not hurting for delicious things. They get ice cream.
You should see our snack drawer. It's amazing.
Yeah. We're awful. Yeah. We're terrible parents.
Yeah, we're terrible parents.
We get our kids everything. Okay, I can only speak for myself. We get our kids all the things that we never got as kids. You got plenty of snack foods because your dad drove a truck that delivered snack foods.
That's right. That's true.
I was raised by a nurse, so I didn't get any fun things, the little flaky cakes and things. I remember trading my no-name wagon wheels with like half the marshmallow for other things at school because we had a lot of healthy snacks and we didn't have sugar cereal. So I feel like I owe it to my kids to give them what I didn't have, but now I feel like it's come back to bite me because now they expect it all the time.
And I think I might be the forerunner there, though, because
you
because of my upbringing, we were given all kinds of goodies, I will say.
Yeah, you did.
But you know what? We can't let that ruin the party, folks, right? I mean, and another thing, too. Okay, let's get into some questions. How am I as a dad when it comes to communication? I mean, there are different forms of communication. Like, how do I communicate best? Probably a better way to put it, is it?
How do you communicate best?
Yeah, like what's my...
The kid?
Yeah, or just to the family, as a father all around, like... Is that a fair question, or...?
Well, it's just such a circumstantial question.
Yeah, it is.
I think it depends. I think it's just our personalities are different. I think that you, like our daughter, can be more reactionary in the moment, but then very, I don't know if introspective is the right word after. You both like to dissect things later. Like you have all the time in the world to talk about one thing. And you really like to expound on it and like, well, what does this mean and why does it mean that and what can I do with deep. That and like
analytically we do go
she'll just ask lots and lots of questions. I mean, I don't want to squash her
she's so much like me that way.
But on a different side, my son and I are more so like, you ask a question, here's your answer, let's move on.
If you've never seen my son, it's like this without makeup. And anyway, let's talk about something else quickly. Change speeds really fast, swiftly, like NASCAR. Discipline.
Oh.
Am I a good disciplinary father? Do I lay it down in the way that I think validates our kids and constructively guides them?
Okay, I think every parent struggles with discipline, and I think anybody who says they don't is full of crap. Because it's nobody like
she's not calling you full of crap, just to let you know.
I mean,
we don't want to get a ding here from YouTube, you know.
No, I just think there's so many do's and don'ts to disciplining your kids, and I think one person can say this is the right way to do that in this situation, but every kid's personality is different and every environment is going to be totally different. Like, we can't discipline our son like we discipline our daughter.
There's no way. Because
they are like night and day in terms of what they understand and how they respond to discipline and things. So I think that there's certain times where one or both of us are stronger in another area.
Okay, let's move on quickly. One big thing that we talk about and we try to model before our kids is don't talk down to each other in front of them. So we try our best. Not that we're not perfect, but we try our best not to berate each other in front of or disrespect each other.
Disrespect each other.
Right. Like when one person is talking to a kid,
like I would never say that's because your dad's awful at this.
Right.
Like I don't say, oh, I don't talk negatively about you.
Or you don't sit down with our kids talking and be like, yeah, your father's you should he did this or he did that.
No, because it's going to color their perception.
Right.
And I don't want to do that. I don't think that that's my role as a parent and my role as a spouse to do that. And I think the one thing that I
that's good.
really took from my parents was name calling your children. Don't call your children names. Mm-hmm. Negative names in the heat of the moment.
Like stuff like, why are you you're such a nerd. Like, that's a real thing. Like, there are parents that sometimes say things like, oh, he likes video games, you're such a nerd.
Yeah, like labeling your kids.
Labeling kids because of their interests, which I experienced growing up, and something I'd never want to pass on.
I think there's a difference between calling your kids like names in frustration versus calling out the behavior or the action. I think that really stuck with me. I very clearly remember my mom saying something to that effect about calling your kids names. Don't call your kids names. But yeah, addressing the behavior. So instead of saying like you're a brat,
right?
It's
like it's not indicative to the person.
You are acting
right
like a brat.
That's right.
You are acting like a jerk.
Yeah.
Or, you were acting
this
way.
This is the definition of a jerk.
I think because it comes down to this is not who you are, but this is how you are acting, and I don't really like good. It.
Take notes, because there is a difference, right?
Yeah.
Labeling and giving kids a title based on the behavior is not
mean.
Right.
Like when little kids say you're mean, then people might always grow up thinking that they're a mean person.
Well, I did.
Rather than saying like you are acting mean.
You're
acting.
Yeah.
In a mean way, or I don't know.
Okay, let's switch gears again. Because this is about me.
Yeah.
Hey,
about
what's one of my strengths? And then we'll get to a weakness. But what's one of my strengths as a father?
You already asked me this.
Did I ask you that? Okay, what's one of my weaknesses as a dad? You're strong everywhere. What's one of my weaknesses? And that doesn't mean like it's not bad. It's just we all have them.
Oh, we do.
Right? But
and
remember,
this show is not Motherhood Confessions.
No, it's Fatherhood Confessions. Exactly.
And so, I'm not starting a show talking all about everything that moms do wrong or feel like they're doing wrong.
But she's good, right? She's good.
I don't have time
Write
for
in the comments below. Give her a little, was that clap hands emoji? But, it's about me. So this is Mama Bear telling Papa Bear and telling you guys, hey, what's this guy all about? Is he lacking? And the reason why I'm doing it is not so I can embarrass. It's to just have dialogue and say that this is really healthy. I know we're doing it in front of somewhat of an audience, but like, it's healthy to have a conversation. Say, is there something that I'm lacking right now that you need me to, step up my game, so to speak?
I think
it's okay.
I think sometimes you might be lacking empathy with the kids.
Yeah.
In the situation that they're at. I know that, you hope that your kids are going to do certain things or listen.
You're some brat.
Such a brat.
Excuse me.
But I think remembering that, yes, they are still children.
Yes,
and remembering what it was like to
be
a child. Like
I forget that.
And I think this is it is a constant reminder, right? Like, and it's not just you, but I think it's something that us as parents need to constantly remember is that, okay, when I was 12, this is how I felt about my friends. This is how I felt about my family. This is how I felt when I was asked to do the dishes. And it was like, oh, this is going to eat up all of my time. And my world is going to end and I don't want to do the dishes. And so you just have to think like, okay, this is the one thing that you have to do. But if it takes you 15 minutes, if it takes you 2 hours, that is entirely up to you. And I get it, but just have at her.
Yeah, exactly.
Just let it happen. And I have to remind myself that too, because I
totally.
was a very messy child. I had a very chaotic room, but I have zero tolerance for my kids' chaos and clutter. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. And I try to remind myself, like, Diana, you were the worst child at putting away your stuff.
Do you think that's one thing is often when we approach our kids on anything, we often forget like what we were when we were that age, like how we thought. I think
so.
Right?
Well, I mean, how long has it been since we were that age?
Oh my goodness, 30 years or more.
25 years since I was my son's age. So,
I think parents often forget what it was like to be a kid. What did I like when I was 12? Video games.
I liked watching movies.
Yeah, you still
I mean, as much as we had video games back then in the early 90s, mid 90s.
Yeah. But I do have a tendency to forget that I do. I have a tendency to forget my kids are kids. Like, yes, we give them chores and all that, but you can't put too much expectation.
You can't fill all of their time with stuff.
You can't.
Sometimes they just need time.
And that's where you're a good balance.
They need time to do whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know. It's very... You want to compare because you really want to put yourself in your kids' shoes, but at the same time, our kids are growing up in an environment that is totally not like how we grew up.
Okay, next question, quickly. If you look at the way I was 5 years ago versus now, I wasn't the most helpful.
No.
Right?
I'm not gonna lie.
See? Confession!
You were.
I wasn't helpful. I was very outlandish. I had how would you say that? Not anger?
No, you had
I was a yeller. I elevated my voice too much. But I don't do that as much.
I like to say reactionary.
Yeah, very reactionary.
It's very reactionary.
Yeah.
Which we are, again, our daughter is
reactionary.
Very reactionary.
Yeah.
So, she comes by it honestly.
There's nothing fake.
And
yep.
And I don't know. I think you mature as parents.
You do.
Like, if we look at how we were when our kids were little versus how we are now. Yeah. It's like, oh, why wasn't I so chill back then? And it's like, because you can't, because you have smaller kids and, they require so much more of your time and your energy. And I think now that our kids are in those like tween years and they require less
attention
from us, just less energy from us. Yeah. I feel like we have mellowed quite a bit in our parenting, and I think that
the expectation is completely changed because the big thing is, as a mom, as a dad, we're both recognizing the phases that they're in. like 2 years ago,
Everything's a
they're
phase.
Yeah,
That's the
everything
thing
is.
too with parenting. I know
Your
everybody
parenting
says
graduates
that.
with phases.
Even from like newborn, everybody's like, "Oh, it's just a phase."
Remember that when we first took Judah home from, like, you didn't even want to drive fast in the car because you're afraid his head might move, right?
Yeah.
Which,
no, it's totally different.
yeah, stuff like that. But now you look at parents who have newborn and be like, you can go 80 miles an hour.
Or like, no, well, that's a bad example.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm thinking more like, you drop your soother on your floor and you'd be like, right?
Oh, I've got to boil that in hot water for 3 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas,
So funny.
with your second child or your third or whatever, I mean, fourth children pretty much just raise themselves. And,
Yes,
you
true.
you just kind of like blow it off and just,
It's true.
here, take it back.
Yeah.
Or now as, parents of older children, we're just, I don't know, you look back on that and you look back at people with younger kids and you want to say to them like,
Oh, you do.
you want to say like, oh, just relax.
Just relax.
But you're not in that zone. Like, you can't relax.
I know. It's a phase. You're
It is a
adapting to
phase.
that phase. It's
We're
just
in a
impossible.
good phase. And it is just a phase. It's going to change. We've got prepubescent children. And
Yeah.
the storm is going to come. And it's not going
The
to be
smell
fun.
is here. The storm is going to come.
Yes. We've got some, some interesting smells starting.
One more thing before we go, I want to cue up our outro music. But yeah, it's the same music you just heard. It's our outro music. We could probably say that I think we're a pretty good team. When it comes to.
I think we've become a pretty good team.
I think so.
I mean,
Overall, she gives me a 9.5 out of 10.
We've had no choice. We decided to take on this journey of life together and
Yep.
to procreate, and now we
we're
have to raise what we've created. So yeah, we're both in it together equally.
Yeah, and I think the thing in all of this is that you will, no matter where you are in the early stages, middle stages, or if you're like empty nesters, you can reminisce. You have to adapt in every situation you move along. You can't have too much foresight, and you can't be too ignorant.
Yeah.
You just kind of just ride the waves, and it's a journey. It's like figuratively speaking, like climbing the summit of Mount Everest. It feels like you're never going to get there, and even when you get there, you feel, there's a walk back down, right? You're at a total different phase. You're there to, be, a presence for your kids as they get older. Consult, and I've heard this before. Our kids are not there, but being friends with your kids.
I mean, I have no interest in being friends with my kids right now.
No,
because
that's right.
they don't
We're
need
not.
they don't need me as a friend. They need me as a parent.
But a fair.
One day, I hope that I will be friends with my kids. But that's not what they need from me right now.
At the end of the day, we're doing our best, and I'm doing my best. We didn't really finish this conversation. Maybe we'll come on in the next few weeks again and pick it up and have conversations. You done really well.
Oh,
Yeah, fantastic. You really stole the show.
well, I sacrificed 40 minutes of my Friday.
So we're gonna go and sit down and probably watch TV together and chill and ignore our children. No.
Yeah.
But thank you for joining. This has been Fatherhood Confessions Feature Friday, and my wife's the feature on this Friday. Yeah, but it's been fun. Dialogue, conversation, and that's why Fatherhood Confessions exists. I'm here to help dads navigate parenting through honest conversation, not through degrees and certification and by reference, because we don't have those. We just have experience and stories and people to enjoy it along the way. So, with that, thank you for joining us. This is Trent, this is Diana, this is FC, and we shall see you